Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Monday Medz Health Nuggets. I'm your host, Tanisha Lawrence, with Monday Medz Health and Wellness Ministry. So, yes, we've been sharing the Mind Your Mind series. Mind Your Mind series. Yes, it's time for you to mind your mind. And as we said in a previous feature, the mind has to do with mental health and taking care of your mental health. Today, we will share some factors that can affect or influence the mind. These factors that can affect the mind will be shared in two features. This is part one of this overview of factors that can affect the mind. And as we journey through this Mind Your Mind series, we will look more in depth on some of these factors. And these range from biological, psychological, and social factors. So, as we talk about biological factors, some biological factors that can affect the mind are physical health. Now, many of you know that if someone has physical injuries such as brain injuries or other bodily injuries that can affect the mind. There are also chronic illnesses that can affect the mind. Also, infections can affect the mind and impact mental health. Also, another biological factor that can affect the mind is genetics. If there is a family history of mental illness, this can increase the susceptibility of such. So, yes, this can also impact the mind. Diet is a big one, as we know that nutritional deficiencies and unhealthy eating patterns can affect brain function and mood. And like we've heard the saying that seems so cliche, you are what you eat. It is not a cliche, it is actually a fact. So your diet, what you eat, can affect your mind and impact your mood. Sleep is also a big one, as insufficient or poor quality of sleep can significantly impair cognitive function and emotional response. So it is important to get adequate sleep. As some people, you can know they didn't sleep enough because they are irritable or they're always irritable. So if you're around someone who is always irritable, maybe it's a good time to ask them when last they had a good night's sleep. Age is also another biological factor that can impact the mind. As the body goes through the natural aging process, the brain, which is the host of the mind, can also be affected by age. Yes, it's time for you to mind your mind. So those are some biological factors. Here are some psychological factors that can affect the mind. And need I say it? No, I do not need to say this one, but it is important that it is at the top of this list. Stress. Yes, high levels of stress can overwhelm the mind and body, leading it to various mental health issues. And we have to highlight this, that you have to check your stress level, especially in this day and age. Stress can kill, as many of us know that stroke and high blood pressure and heart disease, these are 3 chronic diseases that are stress related. So it is of utmost importance that we check our stress level. Another psychological factor that may affect your mental health or your mind is addictions. Yes, substance use and other addictions can interrupt the brain chemistry and impair cognitive function. And these substances are usually termed mind-altering substances. So mind-altering substances such as alcohol, caffeine, over-the-counter medication, along with some prescribed medication. And yes, we will take a specific time in an upcoming feature to deal more in depth with these addictions or mind-altering substances. Having a diagnosis of mental health issues can be a psychological factor that affects the mind. And this seems as relevant as we talk about mental health and the mind. If a person got an upsetting news, this may cause depression, it may cause anxiety, it may cause other mental health issues that can affect the mind. It is important to note how you share this negative or bad news with others is very critical. Yes, so if you have a sad or bad news to share with someone, if possible, it is best to tell them in person. If not, it is best to ask them where they are. If they are not at home, it would be best to wait until they get home to share this information. If they are home, it is important to ask them to take a seat. It is also important to find out who else is at home with them. It is also important to note their state of mind. If they just lost their job, it is not a good time to give them a bad news. So it is important to weigh this bad news. If it is not important to share it at that time, preferably share it at another time. Naturally, there are many other psychological factors that can affect the mind. As we wrap up Monday Medz Health Nuggets today, I'm reminded of this phrase that we always say: laughter is good medicine. And yes, the wise man Solomon did concur in Proverbs 17, verse 22, where he says, "A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones." As we talked about the mind and the heart connection in a previous feature, I pray you will have a merry heart today. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and God be with you. See you soon.